I have spoken with very, very elite individuals, and unfortunately, these are people. I can't, they have to be anonymous, and for anyone listening to me, they don't know who I am, they don't know anything about me. I don't like to put anybody in a position of having to trust me. I don't like to do that. My work is all above board. As a historian, this is what I do. On the other hand, when people come to you in confidence, what are you supposed to do? You can't just give them up, all right? I have spoken to a handful of very prominent individuals, a few of whom are world famous, who have said to me point blank, they say it's not a matter of speculation for me, it's a matter of factual knowledge, that at deep levels of our national security apparatus, one person, a scientist, said to me that this information is so compartmented that I would be astonished at how secret, that at that level there are scientists who are in possession of and are studying alien technology and bodies. One person who has said this is Apollo 14 astronaut Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon. And Mitchell hasn't just said this to me privately in confidence, he's said it publicly. A number of times the man has gone on record. Now, you out there listening can think, well, has Edgar Mitchell lost it? Is he lying? And I think the answer to both of those is no. I don't believe that he's a brilliant man. He's a PhD. And yet he has said this for the last 10 years. So the UFO cover-up is real. And 9/11 researchers, they need to understand. The problem with the UFO topic is that it's got 60 years now of ridicule. And so people are instinctively afraid of it. And it's not like I blame a 9/11 researcher for staying away from UFOs. I understand the feeling. But I would even encourage them, if nothing else, then privately, to start looking into this. Get your head out of the sand and look into the factual foundation for this. This is a serious issue, and this, too, is not going to go away. Just like the 9/11 issue will not go away until it's resolved, so, too, neither will the UFO cover-up.
Well, I would agree with that, and I would say anybody who reads your book will be appraised of the fact that this is a reality. And from there, you have to accept that, for example, the issue of UFOs is intrinsically or inextricably linked with 9/11.
It could very well be.
Well, it has to be, because you posit that there are high-level people who control a lot of what's going on in the world. I mean, you look at America. America today is an empire. Mm-hmm. It has, bases in the vast majority of countries around the world.
Right.
It controls or rapes and pillages the economies of other countries through American and multinational and corporations. America has serious influence all around the world. It is a global empire in all but name, in my opinion. And so that kind of reach gives you such an empire gives you massive power and control over a lot of things that are happening in the world. And if there is a group of people, be it behind the American government or behind all governments, and there is a lot of evidence to posit the existence of such a group, well, then they're going to know about 9/11. They're going to be the people who were involved in some way in 9/11, because 9/11 was a major global incident that has repercussions all around the world. Right. And UFOs are happening in America all around the world. So the idea that if there's such a group, then they're going to be... They know about 9/11 and UFOs. And
put it this way, you have two huge truths, all right? The UFO reality and the 9/11 reality. These are both truths that are... apparently, definitely known by certain groups that are in elevated positions. Mm-hmm. So, right, I mean, it's logical to assume that there could be a relationship there, mm-hmm. and it's not a surprising thing if there were. The one thing about America, I've often been criticized by patriotic, conservative Americans for supposedly being anti-American, and I would like to point out that that's absolutely not the case. I'm a native New Yorker, and I love America from the bottom of my heart. What I think has happened to America is not even so much that America itself is doing all these horrible things to the world. What I think has happened is that America has been hijacked by transnational, international corporate power, which has, not that America as a nation has never been aggressive. America has a long history of aggression. But that in the last generation or two, what we've seen is an increasing level of control by wealthy, super powerful international and national groups that have gotten their hooks into American foreign policy. I mean, pretend that you're some multi-billionaire twiddling your thumbs on the other side of the globe thinking, gee, how can I make my money work for me this year? Well, one way you might want to is by bribing members within the American government for contracts of all types. And this is so that the American government is the greatest national prize of all. Not that the German government isn't, not that the government of Thailand isn't. They all have value because there's opportunities for corruption and all. But the American government is the best prize, and also it's got the best military in the world. So if you can control, to some extent, American military policy, wow, you've got it made. This is what's going on. America is in Iraq and America is in Afghanistan primarily because it's in the interests of, in my view, of transnational power. They want privatize the Iraqi oil fields now. Who's going to benefit? Well, certain multinational interests who basically own George Bush, okay, and he's doing their work for them. So that's the sad thing that's happened to my great country, and I mourn it. I look forward to the day when people can wake up and, just like in the movie V for Vendetta, take to the streets and make it clear they're not going to take it anymore. That day can come. Things look very bleak right now. I'm not someone who believes that it's going to be bleak forever. I don't know why, but I do. I absolutely do have this hope and this belief that people are resilient enough that when the veil, the fog is lifted from their eyes, they're going to see this horrible situation and they're going to get angry enough and they're going to do something. The King of France had his head chopped off 200 plus years ago. That's not beyond the realm of possibility today. And when it happens, one thing that I am very confident about, it's going to be fast. There's going to be change, and it's going to be rapid, and we're all going to be astonished at how rapidly it occurs. That's something that I'm holding on to.
In the immortal words of George Bush, bring it on.
Bring it on. Yes.
Can I misquote him or not quote him in that way and use his words against him to bring on his own downfall?
The trouble is, if there is any kind of an ET or ultra-terrestrial or hyperdimensional aspect to this, how many times have heads been lopped, and then what takes its place ends up just being a variation on the same theme? And what do we have to do so that the next time there's one of these key nodal points, we don't just set up the seeds for replicating what's gone before, and so that our children or our children's children, a few generations down, find themselves exactly where we are today.
Another psychopathic, exploitative hierarchy that, sucks the blood out of ordinary people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if we're dealing, if this ET presence that is among us and that has some sort of an interface with a small group of humans, the reality that they would be coming from is so far beyond what we can imagine. They may have the ability to move through time. They may have the ability to manipulate time, to go back to key nodal points and kind of keep tweaking history as it develops.
Well, if that's so, then, human history will forever be the tool of these creatures. And if that is so, then there's still one thing that every person can do. There's always a realm of personal freedom and personal expansion of consciousness. That, as far as I can see, remains a realm of personal freedom. And indeed, there may be a wide array of mind control technologies that they have, and nevertheless, I am not willing to concede that I lack a realm of personal freedom. My mind, as far as I can tell, is still my own, and as is yours and everyone else who's sitting here. So that's what we have. I mean, ultimately, think of it this way. Let's say that tomorrow, somehow, the good people of this world succeed in overthrowing the totally evil, twisted, screwed up human and ultra-terrestrial entities that run this world, and we are able to create a truly new and just order in this world. Let's say we do that. So then the question is, well, then what? Because then what? We still have to live with ourselves, ultimately. We still have to live with our flawed, deeply flawed selves, and we all have. So